I ask people, can you tell me who the Democratic leader is in the United States Senate? What is his name, And I just, actually, just even here, just don't say his name, just give me a show of hands if you can name his name. In the U.S. Senate, what do we got here? A quarter of the people. Wow, this is an educated crowd. This is, can name the name Tom Daschle. Who is Tom Daschle? Who's fighting the fight for us? I mean, I know a little bit about him now. He's actually not a bad guy, but I think he even voted against the welfare bill. But, that's what I'm saying. That's why it's so critical to support Bernie and others like him who will get out there and say the things that need to be said, who have the courage of their convictions, who will fight that fight. It's so critical to do that and to take that message out of here and to reach out to the people who are not part of the, the sort of left community that exists here in Burlington, but to reach out to the other people here in Vermont because they're with you. They just don't have the hand being extended to them. It's so important to do that. So I'd like to actually, maybe just open it up for 5 or 10 minutes for some questions, and or anything you'd like to know about TV Nation, Roger Me, or anything that's been said here tonight.
Yeah, did you inhale?
I don't think poorly of me when I tell you this. All right, I have never smoked a joint in my life, and I'm not proud of it, and I'm sure I will someday. And well, why don't we make it tonight, Mike, right here in Burlington? You say you are a man of the people. Well, we'll listen to country music if you'll smoke a joint. I don't know where I missed it, man. My hair was halfway down to my butt in the late 60s and 70s, and I think I was probably worried that I was already that far gone that if I enhanced it, I might not come back. Is that right? I don't know.
You don't need it.
You don't need it. Oh, well, that's good.
You don't need it.
Oh, I don't need it. Oh, well, thanks for leaving me out of the party. Okay, so we've lost the marijuana crowd now. Yes, who's next? Yes, ma'am.
Whatever happened to Ben Hamper? I read his book just before TV Nation.
Yeah.
I was just curious.
What happened to Ben Hamper? He's writing a second book, and he is retired from the shop, and he was actually a reporter on a couple of segments on TV Nation, and he did the one on small condoms that has never aired. He was when the idea came up in the staff room, his hand went up first. I'll do that one. Maybe when you're from Flint, you just hate yourself so much, you just, you're willing to do anything. I mean that half serious, huh?
Are you now, or have you ever been a member of the Democratic Party?
I voted for George McGovern and did not vote for another Democrat until 1992. When after 12 years of Reagan and Bush, I felt like that had to end. But even then, I couldn't bring myself to do it, and I brought my daughter, who was then, I think, 10 or 11, to the voting place, and she said, she wanted to see the inside of the voting booth, and so we came in there. I said, I just can't pull the lever for Clinton. and Natalie says, why don't we pretend we're voting for Hillary? I said, okay. And I said, but you got to pull the lever. So she pulled the lever. So officially, I still haven't voted for a Democrat since McGovern. But there is a way for the progressive movement and for the various other sort of parties that are starting to form now, the Labor Party, the New Party, the Greens, etc., to find a way in some ways, in some counties, actually just take over the Democratic Party and make it your party. Because so many people have checked out of the political system at this point. If you went to the next county, well, maybe not here in Burlington, but if you went to the next county Democratic meeting in Flint, Michigan, for instance, there probably wouldn't be more than 15 people there. If you brought 20 of your friends, you would suddenly become the Democratic Party of Flint, Michigan. Seriously. I mean, if you, on precinct ballot, do you have precinct delegates here on the ballot? You vote for, how do you do it here, caucuses? Well, okay, well, we get to vote in Michigan on a ballot, on a secret ballot. And you go in there, and they're always blank. Nobody, will run for even precinct delegates. So the party hacks nominate the delegates at the county convention, then they go to the state, and then those delegates go to the national, and then we end up with, you know, Tweedledum and Tweedledummer here with Clinton and Dole. So, or the evil of two lessers, as I like to call it. So I think a lot of this has to start grassroots. And you have to get involved locally, and the Christian Coalition has done a great job of doing that and taking over the Republican Party. Yeah.
Yeah, do you think Bill Clinton will return to his working class roots after this election? Maybe, I mean, he's got nothing else to lose at this point.
Will Clinton return to his working class roots and do the right thing once he's back in office because he's not up for re-election? No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. I believe that once you've made your deal with the devil, you're locked into that. And the Clintons are so broke from all these lawsuits. I mean, they are broke. They're going to be in huge debt when they leave the White House. He'll have to be pleasing so many corporations. He'll end up on more boards than Jerry Ford and George Bush combined, more corporate boards. And he's not going to do anything in these next 4 years to mess that up. So don't expect a whole hell of a lot when he gets back into office. And he will not undo what he says he's going to do with this welfare bill. I promise you that. This will not be undone. I have a nephew who has muscular dystrophy. And his mother is going insane right now, trying to figure out if he's one of the 330,000 disabled children whose SSI benefits are going to be cut off as a result of this new welfare bill. And, you know, you just gotta say, what did this 8-year-old kid, who's gonna be in a wheelchair now in about another month, what did he do to deserve this? He's the welfare bum they're talking about in Congress. He's the welfare cheat, the chiseler, the no good, taking from us. Yeah. You know, it boggles my mind. We spend $50 billion a year on social welfare in this country. We spend $170 billion on corporate welfare, free handouts to corporations, $170 billion. And it ranges from everything from putting in a new road for the company at their new headquarters outside of town that we pay for, to tax exemptions, tax breaks, to $1.6 million to McDonald's so they can promote chicken McNuggets in Singapore. $11 million of our tax money went to Pillsbury to promote the Pillsbury Doughboy in third world countries. And the list goes on and on and on of our tax money. Yet on the evening news, when they talk about welfare, we never talk about it in that way. We never talk about them being the welfare mothers. In my book, I list my top welfare mothers. And in each state I go to, I'm going to try and turn into the Department of Social Services the welfare cheats, the corporations locally who've been taking all this money. It really, really upsets me. It just to me just seems just obscene. Yes, right here.
Are you going to vote in the presidential election? And if so,
Yeah. Am I going to vote in the presidential election, and if so, for whom? You know, I don't know what I'm going to do right now as I stand here tonight. I honestly don't know what to do. If anybody has any ideas, I mean, I'm truly open to them. You know, on a moral level, I can't vote for Clinton. Obviously, can't vote for Dole. You know, Perot. Bernie for president. Bernie for president! Oh, man. If that happens in my lifetime, shoot me after that moment, because it won't get any better than that when Bernie Sanders is in the White House. Just take me away after that moment. Is Ralph Nader on the ballot in this state? No. You know, hard to get Ralph out of the office to do anything. No, you got, I mean, and if there's any Greens here, you know what I'm talking about. You know, it's sad. I don't know. What do you do? I don't know what to do. I think you should vote, but, you know, it just gets so debilitating that maybe we should all do something on some election day to register our protest, you know. Or you know, for those of you who believe that it is, you know, the evil of two lessers or lesser of two evils, and you have to vote for Clinton because, you know, Mussolini was better than Hitler, I guess. See, it's like, what does that mean? You know? I mean, I'm sick of this. I don't know what to do. I honestly don't know. Yes?
Comment, the question, what they could do is write in Ralph Nader if it's not on the ballot. I
Hey, but if you write in Ralph Nader, that loser TV station I was watching at 6 o'clock here in Burlington, you know, they're never going to report even the write-in votes. They won't even recognize your protest.
Rodney McNamara.
Oh, don't waste your time on that.
I had a quick question.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, as far as organizing the left, if you have the spectrum from the Socialist Workers Party all the way to the people who don't watch TV or, you know, they just eat hummus, to, you know, the
Yeah.
spectrum is so wide. And
Yeah.
once you organize them.
You're saying the spectrum on the left ranges from the Socialist Workers Party to the people who eat hummus? Man, I'll tell you, that goes from about here to here. It's like, no offense to the hummus eaters here, and you know, but or the Socialist Workers Party if they're still here, or Mr. Bob Avakian, ladies and gentlemen, Bob Avakian coming in from France. No, I'm sorry.
It would be like blue-collar workers to understand the economics
Yeah.
that are, you know, divided by social issues or still racist, whatever. I mean, it's not, you know, but the spectrum is wide, and then once you do organize them, if you do introduce, you know, 50 years, 5 years,
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
couldn't they be crushed just like dissidents in every other country?
Well, sure.
US?
So, she says, what if we all get organized, but then we get crushed? Well, I know I'm paraphrasing, but, you know, right? I mean, you can't let that stop you. Look, we've got to get this thing clear. Even though the majority of Americans would never consider themselves left or liberal, they are. They are, and we should just accept the fact that really people are already there. People are already, they're already there. And those of us who are willing to do the work, to do the organizing, to run as candidates, to get on the ballot, you know, we will get their support if we don't separate ourselves from them. If we separate ourselves from them with that holier-than-thou, lefty liberal bullshit, then we're never going to get anywhere. I mean, I can't stress that enough. I think we can win. Look, there's more of us than there are of them. You know, this was always my attitude in high school. I ran for the school board when I was 18 in Michigan and won while I was still a senior in high school. And, you know, all I did was get all the students together and said, you know, there's 2,000 of us and there's 4 administrators. What are we afraid of? You know, there are more of us than there are of them. Let's just get out there and do this. I don't mean to make it sound that simple. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. But, you know, there aren't enough people here tonight. We need more people here tonight. We need to raise more money for this campaign. You know, we have no idea what the Republicans are going to pull in the next month and a half here in Vermont, because they've seen this, at least in their own little fantasy, a vulnerable state, and an easy one to win, because, you know, it's Bernie. You know, so we can win this one. Well, you know, I mean, we all have a lot of work here to do. We have to raise some money. We have to get out there and knock on doors, you know, and we've got to leave the confines of the left community and reach out to the people who are already there. Line dancing, please. Line dancing. I'm not kidding. Yes.
We enjoyed your segment on Canada Day.
Canada Day, yes.
We liked your approach to the free trade agreement with free trade in humans, the difference between the Mexican border
Yeah.
and the Canadian border.
Right.
Is CBC or CTV going to carry TV Nation? And why
Oh, that's right. I didn't finish telling that.
Why are
Yeah.
you wearing a Blue Jays cap? Should be the Expos.
I just like the hat. It's the ugliest logo in the major leagues. So, you know, fits with who's wearing it, I guess. I don't know. But excuse me. I didn't finish telling the other part of that because I got sidetracked by your despair over not having Comedy Central up here. The good news is that the BBC, which owns half of TV Nation, said, screw it, we're not going to wait around for the Americans to put up the money for the show. And they went to Canada, France, Germany, Australia, New Zealand, and the new South Africa, and raised the money, the entire budget, for another season's worth of TV Nation. So we, starting in '97, are going to go into production, and we're going to produce another whole summer's worth of the show, with one condition. I told the BBC that I will not do the show unless it's shown in America. I'm not going to do the show about America that we can't see. So they are working right now, negotiating with 3 different networks about carrying TV Nation. That they don't even have to pay for it. We'll just give it to them. You know, it's all paid for. Here you go, America. It's all yours. A gift from South Africa. I know you're happy, but isn't that the saddest, sickest thing you've ever heard of? Huh? It is just sick. We made $1.5 million a week for Mentos, and you'd think, they could put up the money. So we will be on. I've encouraged them to please put it on a non-cable, free broadcast network if they could cut that deal. So they're talking to Fox again, surprisingly. They're talking to PBS, but that's another whole, set of problems there because they've got to please Congress. And, you go and do things like we did where we went and hired our own lobbyist down in D.C. Anybody see that? We said, what kind of democracy can we buy for $5,000? So we hired a lobbyist down there, a legitimate, actual lobbyist. Gave him $5,000. Said, go get us a law passed. And I said, well, what do you want? And we thought, well, we want one line in the IRS code, that huge book, one line that says everybody who works on TV Nation gets a 50% tax break. I know it's a little selfish, but we thought they'd understand the greed element of it and would admire us for it. He came back to us after a couple of weeks and said, Mike, that one's not going to fly. Too many people have seen the show. And I said, okay, why don't you do this? We want our own holiday. So try and get a day designated as TV Nation Day. He said, okay, I think I can do that. So we wrote up a bill, and he got 3 different congressmen to introduce a bill, an actual bill with like one of those numbers on it, House Bill number 4785 or whatever, to declare August 16th as TV Nation Day. And it was actually introduced, and we had 3 congressmen speak, not like submit a speech to the congressional record, actually speak on C-SPAN on the floor of the House as to why Congress should make August 16th TV Nation Day. And we wrote the speech. And they just read what we wrote. And so we had this like Republican congressman from North Carolina, Cobble. Is that his name, Bernie Cobble? Read this. He's a nice guy. I feel kind of bad we took advantage of him. But he wouldn't go line dancing with me, so he's reading. He's on the floor of the House. He's going, I believe that TV Nation Day will improve our balance of trade. It will reduce the deficit, and it will make all children go to bed on time. It was like, we just wrote these nonsensical cliches, and he just read what we wrote. And all we had to do was give him, we gave him a Mixmaster, a Lady Remington, a year's supply worth of tube socks, and 1 ticket to Conan O'Brien. And for these gifts, he read the speech. Unfortunately, there was never a vote taken, but a number of cities around the country sent us resolutions declaring August 16th as TV Nation Day. So I was very happy about that. The Elvis people were very happy because that's the day he died, and so it's a big day for them. And the Madonna people were happy because that's the day she was born. So it had this sort of karmic effect. Yes, who's next here? Yes, right here.
Out of the 3 major networks, can you identify one that is the most pro-union, or opposite thoughts on your union philosophy?
Well, of the 3 or 4 networks, which is the most pro-union? None of them are pro-union. None of them like unions, although most of them are unionized. I think Bernie said it. They're owned by GE, Westinghouse, Disney. Oh my God, and Rupert Murdoch. So there you go. I don't know. Oh, I gotta tell you a funny story. What is this station here? Are they okay?
Access TV.
Oh, they're okay. All right.
Great.
Huh? I don't know whether I should tell the story because I want the show to get back on the air.
It'll go on TV.
It'll go on TV. Oh shit. Okay, I'll tell you guys afterwards. All right. Huh?
Public access.
No, but not true. No. I got to tell you the story because no. You're wrong. This is because here's the story. Just to prove you're wrong. I'm at Fox last summer. I'm in the president's office, the president of the network, not Murdoch, but another guy. And he says, "Can you tell me the meaning of this?" And he hands me, and all the radical socialist people in here will really love this. he hands me a copy of the People's Weekly World. It's the president of Fox handing me a copy of the People's Weekly World. And apparently somewhere I did an interview with somebody, and it was in the People's Weekly World. And on top of the newspaper, in big letters, it said, FYI, Rupert. Rupert was reading the People's Weekly World. And he sent it to the president of the network to demand, why did I say these things? I think the quote they were most pissed off was, the interviewer asked me, why would they put you on television? And I said, well, it's that old quote of, the capitalist will sell you the rope to hang himself with if he thinks he can make a buck off it. So for those of you who've been struggling on those little newspapers all these years, if you don't think the big boys are reading you, they do read you. And they probably watch cable access.
What was your funniest moment?
I guess we're going to be on PBS.
What was your funniest moment with a politician?
My funniest moment with a politician? Oh, man. Boy, there's so many to choose from. I don't know which one to pick. The governor of Vermont, he hugged me. Nobody hugged me. He hugged me. Yeah, you know. One hand for Howard. I like that though, as we were coming up the street, some of the Democrats that are running for state senator or whatever had their signs out there, like it was cool to be here, you know? That's nice, yeah, that's cool, yeah.
David Curtis.
David Curtis, okay, let's hear it for him. Yes, who's next?
Are you going to make any more movies?
I'm writing 2 screenplays right now. One is a comedy set during the collapse of the Soviet Union. There's one that'll make them line up around the Cineplex. And the other is a drama that's set in around the racial situation in Los Angeles, post-OJ, which I have a whole chapter on that in my book that I won't get into right now, but I go through all the reasons why he didn't do it.
Your last 3 job offers.
Because nobody's looked at the OJ thing as a class issue, and I think it's really kind of interesting to look at it that way. Yeah, I'm sorry, what was that now?
What was your last 3 job offers?
My last 3 job offers. To do a sitcom on Fox, to do a sitcom on ABC, to do a national radio talk show opposite Rush Limbaugh. I wonder which one he'll choose. Huh? 60 Minutes, sometimes they do some good things, but essentially they'll go right to the edge of where they should go, and then they won't really attack, the corporate power structure that runs the country. I mean, they'll never actually, go after that. But I still think they do some good things. And then after they're done, you can watch The Simpsons and get an even better dose of it, I guess. Yes. I'm sorry, I can't see you. Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Have you ever turned your sights toward Monsanto Chemical Company? They have come into Vermont and tried to disappear the small farms, and now they're trying to spray the forest and to kill the maple trees, so it'll be easier for the lumber companies to cut down.
Monsanto?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Are you familiar with this issue? Everybody familiar with this?
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with it at all, but we're always looking for ideas on TV Nation. You probably think, oh, there's a lot of people that want to work on the show or sending us ideas. I have to tell you, they're not. Seriously, every time that we start up the show, we have a hard time finding writers and people to be a part of the show. And in part, I think it's because when you're sitting here in Burlington or Flint, you think, oh, there must be so many people, I probably could never get hired there. And the truth is that we never have enough correspondence. We never have enough people to do that. And if you have ideas for stories, we read all of our mail. You can send it to us through the U.S. mail, or you can email us. Many of our stories that we've gone out to do have come from ideas from fans. The best idea that we ever got from a fan of the show was, he said, that corporations have no structure through which to accept a donation to themselves. Because they're all about take, take, take. If you give to them, they wouldn't know what to do. You know? It's like they have a product and you have to buy the product and they'll take your money from you. But if you just walked into Monsanto and say, I'd like to give you $1,000. Well, what for? Nothing, just for being you. They would screw them up because, you know, the system is not about giving, it's about taking. So what we did at the end of the year on TV Nation, we decided to pick a corporation. In this case it was Exxon, who had been beaten up pretty bad that year. And because it was the Christmas season, we thought, well, we're going to give them a donation and for like $10,000. And so we tried to get, we had a big check printed up. It was I convinced NBC to give me $10,000 to give to Exxon. And they were so frightened. My God, you can't do it. And I said, don't worry, they will not take the check. I could lay money on this right now. They will not take this check. And they didn't take the check. And we had a big benefit down on Wall Street. We brought in the Meat Puppets, put them on a flatbed truck. It's a big rock band. And we had a concert called Corp Aid. And, you know, because, you know, corporations are just so beaten up these days. And, you know, nobody ever is nice to them. And it's the Christmas season. So all these Wall Street brokers came out of their offices and we passed the bucket around at Corp Aid. And Stephen Wright was the MC. And we raised all this money. Then we went down to Dallas, Texas to try and give the money. Both these huge buckets of cash and a big check to Exxon, and they would not take the check. And it was a very funny, you know, thing to sort of show, you know, just what jerks they are, and allowed us to talk about all the things they've done to hurt the environment, and to, you know, including the fact that, you know, that they got I think it's a $300 million tax write-off for the cleanup up there in Alaska. They got to write that whole thing off. Another form of welfare. We gave them welfare for polluting the environment. It's absolutely obscene. We'll take 2 more questions and then we'll go line dancing, right? Yes, sir.
What are conditions like in Flint these days?
What are conditions like in Flint these days? They're worse. Until this year, GM did not close another factory after Roger Mead, just purely for PR purposes. They closed them in other cities instead. This year, they started laying off people again. They laid off another 3,000 people here 2 months ago. There were 80,000 people working in Flint at GM. There are, I think, around 30,000, maybe less than 30,000 now. It's over 50,000 jobs gone. In a town that has 150,000 people and maybe another 100,000 in a couple 100,000 in the county. And I was driving out of Flint a few months ago and I was writing the book. And I looked at this building they were tearing down, the old Chevrolet factory where the sit-down strike was. And I looked at the building and it was incredible how similar it looked to the Oklahoma City building. I mean, it was 5 floors, it was half bombed out, the cement and the wires were all hanging out the floors. And it really just kind of stunned me, and I took a picture of it, and I opened the book with these 2 photos. I put them side by side, Flint, Michigan, and Oklahoma City, and just under the heading, "What is terrorism?" And the publisher, Random House, pleaded with me not to do this. This is extremely insensitive. I said, well, you know, I don't think so. You should read the first chapter of the book, because I explain why I open with these 2 photos. There's no doubt that if you put a Ryder truck in front of a building, fill it with fertilizer and a fuse, and kill 116 people, that is an act of terrorism, and it should be punished. But what do you call it when a company politely removes the people from the building first, then they blow it up? And then in the ensuing years, a number of those people who work there, because they no longer have jobs, commit suicide, kill their spouse, or die a longer, slower death by turning to alcohol and drugs to relieve their pain. What do you call that? Because those people are just as dead as the people in that Oklahoma City building. To me, it's an act of terrorism. It's an act of economic terrorism. It's an act of terrorism nonetheless. And I think that we have to have a situation, we have to get to this point in this country where it is illegal for a company to destroy communities, to kill these people. They are killing these people. Well, Mike, you can't do that. That's not our system. You see, our system says you got to make a profit, and companies got to do whatever they can to, you know, give back to the shareholders. Well, you know what? Let me tell you something. That's not our system. Our system is called a democracy. which means we, the people, have a right to protect ourselves from harm. So why have we allowed these companies to harm us in this way, to tear our families apart, to have the divorce rate go up, to have suicide and all these things happen in the Flint, Michigans of this country? Why have we allowed them to kill our lives, kill us, kill our livelihood? Why are we, when anthropologists dig us up 400 years from now, they're never going to figure this out, that these people just sort of laid down and let these companies do this while they lined their pockets. Why did these people do this? Why did they let them get away with this? We've got to leave a note behind in one of those time capsules to explain this. It won't make any sense. You know, if it's just about profit, then why doesn't GM sell crack? I mean, really, why don't they sell crack? Because I'll tell you one thing, a 2,000-pound car gets them about a $400 profit, but a 2,000 pounds of crack is going to get them a hell of a lot more money. So why don't they sell crack? Well, we don't let them, do we? I mean, they would if they could. Well, they would. Well, yeah, but believe me, if they could figure out a way to help a corporation to make a profit on it, they would do that. They would do that. But they don't do it because we say it's illegal. We have our representatives pass a law that says it's illegal. Why is it illegal? It's illegal because it's immoral. Why is it immoral? It's immoral because it destroys our communities. It destroys our kids. That's why we've made it against the law. Well, why don't we make it against the law for a company like General Motors to close a factory in Flint, Michigan that destroys the lives of another 3,000 people just so that they can make a profit? That shouldn't be allowed. Last year, they made $7 billion. $7 billion in profit. So let's destroy the lives of 3,000 families so we can make 7.1 next year? Why are we allowing them to get away with this? AT&T announces they're going to lay off 40,000 people, and the next day the stock shoots up, and so all the company executives and the boards of directors pocket millions of dollars in 24 hours simply by announcing the layoffs of 40,000 people? That should be a crime. That should be illegal. We need a law that prohibits that. Don't tell me that's our economic system. That's our economic system, Mike. That's capitalism. Where does it say capitalism in the United States Constitution? Can somebody point it out to me? Where does it say that? I don't remember reading that. It's not of, by, and for the corporations. It's of, by, and for us. It's absolutely insane. And we can stop this. We can stop this kind of damage being done to ourselves if we organize locally, if we elect candidates like Bernie. We're going to go there and fight that fight for us. And let's not get, too depressed with the choice that we have on the presidential ballot. Do what you got to do in November, whatever it is that your conscience says that you have to do. And then on November 6th, get busy. Get busy, because we all have a lot of work to do. So, a very nice bookstore here in Burlington, Chasman and Bem. No, not so nice? There's a hiss. Oh, I only hear those hisses in Ann Arbor and Madison and Berkeley. So I always like that, in those places. We used to drive from Flint, when we were kids. We got our driver's license. We would drive from Flint to Ann Arbor because it was the only way you could see a foreign movie or go to an anti-war protest or whatever. And I remember the first time, I think it was Gene McCarthy was speaking there, and he said something, and a bunch of people went, "Sss." We didn't know what that was. Wow. But that's why, the left is great, right? Anyway, so they brought some books here of Downsize This, which I'll be very happy to sign, and we're going to donate the profits from my profit, not Random House profit. I can't donate theirs. I'm going to donate my profit from all the books that are sold here tonight to the Progressive Coalition or whatever here in Burlington to keep this fight going. So, anyways, thank you very, very much for having me here, and I'll see you back there and talk to everybody who wants to talk to me. So, thank you very much. Vote for Bernie Sanders and get out there and get 10 other people to vote for him. Thank you.